it was so real and raw and honest and vulnerable. And I'm so grateful and honored that I was able to be a fly on the wall for that conversation between two strangers. It was very relatable for me. I related very much to what the dancer of color was describing and talking about. And I appreciated the words of the male dancer who, was honest about, I feel safer around white people than non-white people. I feel safer around women than I do men. And I think, it's true. Those conversations are really important. And I was very pleased to see that there was no choreographer credited, meaning that my hunch was affirmed that this really was like a real-time connection between these two dancers. And there was no performance. There was no performance needed. It was just, we are two humans and we're going to connect through movement, through words, and let's see where it takes us. And I think that's such a beautiful exercise. I loved this, and I think this is really going to stay with me, and it kind of has my creative gears turning. I love this concept, and I just want to thank both of the dancers for being so raw and vulnerable with your words and showing your humanity. It's really important, and I hope that we can all continue and take a lesson from this and bring it into the world.
Seeing the physical representation of that liminal space in between people was such a great thing to explore, especially in this day and age when we are so combative in our culture everywhere we turn. And I think that raw honesty and authenticity was so refreshing. And it implicated me as a viewer in a way that my empathy was compelled to be present with these people. Because when you are provided such open, pure talking and connection, it's impossible to tune out and to check out. So this also physical exploration of these feelings and words was just made for this beautiful combination that made me feel rejuvenated after. In this day and age when it's such an oppositional culture of walls and shutting one another out based on their gender, sexuality, skin color, or political leanings, especially, it was just beautiful to see the exact opposite. Just a coming together and acceptance of one another in our purest, unfiltered form, to just move towards the future united.
Feels particularly relevant during this age of social distancing, but it was also done during this period of social activism where many minority groups are beginning to find their voice and become far more vocal. And if this had come out in, say, even in 2019, it might not have had the same impact. That being said, Keith is gay, Sarah's black, and the thing that draws them together is that they don't feel particularly connected to their own communities. So Keith, for example, says he doesn't trust men as much as women, while Sarah's most powerful line is when she said, "I hate my blackness and I hate my whiteness." As the short said at the beginning, these are thoughts that people would keep to themselves out of, I guess, fear of what might happen if they said them out loud. But as they started dancing with and towards each other, they began to open up and become closer. So I guess the film's meaning or takeaway is that dance can become a very powerful way to unlock, these thoughts that are within us. So it was, of course, it was very powerful to see the progression over 5 minutes of Sarah and Keith first staring at each other behind a piece of tape to then hugging. And I thought this was a very unique dance piece, and I hope to see more concepts just like this.
This short was really special. It was beautiful, and it was very moving. I loved seeing the vulnerability between the two dancers, And the fact that they were strangers, and they touched on racial issues too, where they were suspicious of each other and being very vulnerable with each other. And that takes a lot of courage and a lot of bravery. And you go from seeing these two individuals who are bearing their souls to one another and who are suspicious of each other and afraid of what the other person is going to think. And also on a racial level too, what the other person is going to think. And then by the end, they're comfortable enough with each other to know that there's no judgment on either side, that they're hugging each other. This was really moving. It was beautiful, very well done, all of it.
This is a very beautiful statement piece about our inner voices and what is perceived of us or the impressions we think we give others. It is about self-acceptance, inner strength, division, vulnerability. They have powerful body expressions and body language that leads to a common objective, conciliation, and just humanity above all. It is totally outstandingly loving piece. I dearly enjoyed it.
This was a really great piece about two people who were just kind of having a conversation and kind of sharing everything about their life and how they feel and their insecurities and just their entire thought process. And what I really liked about this was that that conversation was kind of broken in and filled in the space between the dance sequences, and it kind of was like, here's this moment of pure honesty, and then it breaks to this part where they don't have to communicate and they're just two dancers who are just doing what they love, and then it goes back to them being like, okay, so this is something else about me. And it really does show that people are able to express themselves in different ways, and there's just so much behind hidden doors, basically, and people have so much to say, and yet they aren't always given the chance to say it, if that makes any sense. I thought it was just really well done in the way of kind of humanizing people, and yet it shows that we can all just be united through a shared interest, in a sense, and in this sense it was dance, and I kind of like that message behind it, and yeah, it just worked really, really well.
I love the openness and the honesty in this piece, and the exploration through words of movement of what they're searching for is just like, it felt the whole time that there wasn't something that was set, it's something that was being explored and discovered in front of us. I like that live feeling of that. I thought that the filming technique really helped also in exploring the theme, the way that there was often something in front of the camera and we're kind of peeking around objects and kind of almost like gave a sense of being a voyeur into the space, which I thought really added to what this piece was exploring and what it seemed to be getting at. I thought it was all around the choice of music, the freedom and the openness of the performers, the energy that gave to the piece, and like I said, the way it was filmed and the editing techniques, it just all came together as a whole and spoke to something that was quite lovely.